name is Valerie Silver, and today I want to introduce to you my interpersonal communication project for Human Services 508 with Liberty University. My professor is Dr. Glenda Dunn. The contents of my presentation will involve what is interpersonal communication, the identification of my overarching goal, a description of my behavioral blend, barriers involving interpersonal personality, identifying external and internal noise pollution, and my strategy for accomplishing my overarching goal. What is interpersonal communication? According to Stewart, interpersonal communication is the kind of communication that occurs when people involved are talking and listening in ways that maximizes the personal. Well, what is personal? Well, according to Stewart, personal is the characteristics that defines a person. The 5 personal characteristics are unique. People are unique because they're treated with interchangeable parts. Another characteristic is unmeasurable. Objects are unmeasurable because they fit into boundaries. The next one is responsive. Human beings enjoy responding to one another. The next one is reflective. A person can be reflective when they are aware of their own awareness. And the next characteristic is addressable. Addressable is inhabiting one or more language so that you can communicate. Defining my overarching goal. My overarching goal is to implement listening at level 1. And I also need to stop being an interrupter. Level 1 listening, according to Burley Allen, involves restraining from judging, placing myself in the talker's place, and not allowing myself to become distracted. What can I do to enlarge my conversation? Well, enlarging my conversation can be done by understanding who owns the problem. And according to Peterson, if I'm the listener, that means I don't own the problem. Peterson explains that the listener should focus on what the talker is doing about his or her own situation. Enlarging my conversation, I can enlarge my conversation by not judging the speaker. Instead of judging, I should be nexting. According to Stewart, nexting is one of the 6 features of communication. Nexting is very important in a communication skill. When I am communicating and having a problem, I should ask myself, what can I do next? Or what should happen next? What is the importance of enlarging my conversation? Well, 1, I have a desire to communicate effectively with coworkers. Another thing is, it is very important for me to have a closer relationship with my husband and having a better understanding of the communication process when I am having a conversation with another person. Defining my behavioral blend. According to Carbonell, I am an I-S, and this is a person that has a personality type that inspires and is submissive. I also relate well to most people. I show feelings more than others. I am motivated to help people. And I'm also a people pleaser. And there's one thing, I do have difficulty listening during the conversation process. Influences from my behavioral blend has a negative impact. My behavioral blend influences my listening style because I am an interrupter. According to Burley Allen, an interrupter brings up another subject that doesn't relate to what the talker is saying. And according to Carbonell, part of my personality trait of being an I is described as having a very difficult time keeping quiet during the conversation process. Dealing with my interpersonal barriers. Well, I can't be an interrupter if I'm going to be a counselor trying to help people that are dealing with crisis. I need to apply active, reflective, and empathetic listening. Well, with active listening, according to Christall, is gathering effective information from the person that is speaking. Reflective information involves retaining what the person said, reflecting on what the speaker is saying. And empathetic listening, well, that is having feelings and emotions about what the speaker is saying. Identifying external and internal noise pollution. Internal noise pollution involves a lack of concentration. Listening requires concentration. So when you're talking to another person and you are the listener, you need to concentrate. Another noise pollution that's internal is not testing the understanding. This means people assume that they understood what the speaker is saying when they really don't. Another internal noise pollution involves turning the subject. Turning the subject is because you're afraid of forgetting what you're going to say next. Influence from my negative internal noise pollution, identifying the negative internal noise pollution, is distraction from the person's voice or either how the person comes off with their tone. So during a conversation, when the person has a different tone, that can be an external noise pollution for me. Another thing is trying to do two things at once. You're in a conversation and a person is speaking, but you're either trying to do something while they're speaking, and that can be an external noise pollution. Another thing is also allowing emotions to get in the way. Well, most people react emotionally. Instead, they should be acting logically. And how can I deal with the solution to noise pollution? Well, according to Rega, there's a 5-step process. It's called CLEAR. The C in CLEAR means to commit to listening. When you're listening to the speaker, stop being preoccupied. Another thing is in L, listen. That's what the L stands for in CLEAR. Listen carefully to the speaker. The E in CLEAR is to evaluate. Try to evaluate what the listener says. The A in CLEAR is, I need to acknowledge and paraphrase what is being said so that I can retain what the speaker is saying. And the R in CLEAR means to respond and test. And this means to allow the speaker to hear the message so that they know that I understand what they're saying. And what are my actions for achieving my overarching goal? Well, I can apply the knowledge and techniques that I've learned from Human Services 508 and need to make it a part of my personality trait. Another thing I need to do is I need to continue applying my faith to help me defeat the problems I have with interrupting and being an ineffective listener. Those things can hinder my success at being an effective communicator. Another thing is I need to apply what Stewart said about perceiving the message and translate it into ideas. Another action for my overarching goal would be to listen to what Peterson said about using parathinking so that I can apply my own understanding to what the speaker has said. And I also need to have awareness of who I am, because according to Burley Allen, I need to listen carefully to what I say and how I say it to the person. Well, this concludes my interpersonal project. And what I want to leave with leaving and exiting this class is I have learned skills on how to communicate more effectively. I learned that I'm not the best communicator when I thought I was before I took this class. I now know how to stop interrupting while I'm in a conversation, respect the speaker, and don't give advice. I also have learned how to use effective listening. Thank you.